Hey guys, it's Marshall from Going Gear, and today we're going to take a look at one of the more anticipated lights we've had lately. This is the Nitecore TM15, 2,450 lumens on high. Pretty impressive for a light this size. Let's open it up, show you what you get on the inside. So user manual, Nitecore's been doing a really good job on their user manuals lately. Lots of information about how to make the light function and the warranty information, maintenance, features, just a bunch of good information in there. Definitely take a look at that. Warranty card, silica gel, they love their silica gel. Here's the light itself. We're going to pull that out. We'll set that to the side for right now. And the other stuff that you have in there, so here is the AC adapter. So this is actually a rechargeable light, and you don't have to take the batteries out to recharge it, which is kind of nice. And we also have down in there a lanyard, some spare O-rings, standard kind of stuff. But AC charger, I'll show you that better here in just a second. So here's the holster. I'll show you that. Pretty basic holster. It's open on the bottom, but you have a flap that covers and secures the light in there pretty well. And then your standard attachment points on the back. You have the hook and loop, and then another metal loop up there. Let's see if we can get some of this stuff out of the way. Alright, so set that to the side. Here is the flashlight itself. So you can see, decent sized light. It's not massive. I actually have a TM11 here just so you can see the size difference. So it's going to be a little bit longer, and the longer gets you the rechargeable function, so you actually have a charging port over here on the side, as well as deeper reflectors. So you have deeper reflectors compared to the TM11, so this is going to give you better distance than the TM11 did. So I think the TM11 was rated for around 280 meters. This one is at 363, so a little bit more distance, and it's going to be a little bit more focused beam, but I'll show you that better when we go outside. So I'll set the TM11 back to the side, show you the TM15 a little bit better up close. You can see nice styling on this one. I like Nitecore lights. I think they look cool. There's the button. A little bit sticks out a little bit more compared to the TM11 one, so it's a little bit easier to access and actually operate. Lots of heat sinking on here. Still, I mean, this thing is running at 2,450 lumens on high, so it's not going to be able to just run for forever at that output. Honestly, none of the lights we can. When they give their stated value, they don't run at that level for forever. But it does have thermal management, so when it reaches something, I think it's 60 degrees Celsius, it'll actually drop the output. But that's pretty standard for high output lights these days. There you can see those 3 Cree XML LEDs a little bit better. Nice deep, smooth reflectors in there, just in case you're wondering who made the light. It's pretty obvious. So Tiny Monster TM15, there's that switch on the side. Charging port, and it actually has a tripod mount as well, which is pretty cool. So if you want to attach this to a tripod, we have a lot of photographer and cinematographer customers that like lights like these because they can attach them to a tripod when they're doing their photography, and they can just position the light where they want it to be, and they don't have to hold it in their hand, which is kind of nice. Or pay an assistant. Tripods are cheaper than assistants. Alright, so let's go and open it up. And here on the inside, you can see it takes 4 batteries. So this is going to run off of 4 18650 batteries. And it'll also run off of 8 CR123s as well. Obviously not rechargeable, because CR123s are not rechargeable. Our CR123s, also don't put them in there and try to charge them, because it's only made to charge 18650s. But 4 18650s, 4 of the 3100 EagleTac 18650s that we sell. I like these a lot. They're great batteries. And it has an indication of the polarity around there, but it's all positive. So positive up on all of them. If I can figure out how to open up this container. Alright, so we got 4 batteries in there, 4 18650s. There's an inside of the head and circuit board and everything. It's kind of nice that there's no battery carrier to line up or anything, so you don't have to do any sort of adjustment or worrying about which way you insert the battery carrier. The batteries and everything, or the way they're inserted, is actually built into the body, so you don't have to worry about that. I have the battery tube unscrewed a little bit. I want to show you something on the LED indicator, a little LED ring, blue ring that runs around the switch. We're going to tighten it back up. When you first put in the batteries, it's actually going to tell you the voltage of them. So we'll give it just a second. You'll see it flash 4 times, and then it'll pause. And then if it has a higher voltage, it'll flash a couple more times. Not those flashes, that's just the showing that it's in standby mode. So the batteries right now are about 4.0 volts, and it's accurate within plus or minus 0.1 volts. So it's pretty accurate, so you can get an idea of the charge. And it'll also show you that when you go into standby mode. So a pretty cool feature. You can actually see the charge, and the little LED indicator will show you that. Here's the battery charger. Again, you only want to use this with the 18650. So you have this port down here. Pull the flap down. Obviously, you want this plugged into the wall. Otherwise, it's not going to do a whole lot of good. And then just plug that in there, and you're good to go. It'll take probably about 7 hours to charge to full capacity if you completely deplete your batteries, which is not exactly a short period of time, but you got to remember there's a whole lot of batteries in here, so it's going to take a little bit of time to fully charge them. You can always pull them out and use a faster charger if you need it a little bit more quickly than that. Having trouble with words today. All right, so let's talk about the operation of this thing. Pretty much the same operation that you saw on the TM11. So you have a two-stage switch. It's almost like a camera switch where if you press it halfway, it'll focus, press it all the way, and it'll release the shutter. On this one, if you press it halfway, it'll go into your daily mode, I think is what they call it. And then you can press it halfway, and it'll cycle between, you can see, 4 different outputs. Now you also have one more output in here. If you press it halfway and hold for a second, it'll go into the turbo output. And it does have memory of those, so if you turn it off and turn it back on, it'll go back into the output that you left it off in. So that's the half press. And press it fully, so it would be like the press it all the way down to turn it off. Now if you press it all the way down to start with, you go straight into the turbo mode. And there's no memory in this one. You can see you use that to turn it off and on, but you can do a half press to switch between turbo and the high mode. Again, it doesn't have a memory, so when you turn it off, turn it back on, it's always going to go straight into that turbo if you press the switch all the way down. You also have strobe in here, so if you double click it fully, it'll go into strobe. So some other features in there as well. If you have it turned on and then you press and hold for a second, you'll see it kind of flash like that, and it'll be in standby mode. And it'll flash again, showing you the voltage of the batteries, and then it'll stop flashing. So that's a nice way to if you're going to put it in your pack or store it in your car or anything like that, you can put it in a standby mode, and it's not going to accidentally activate, or you could just loosen the battery tube. Either way, it's doing pretty much the same thing. And then to get it out of standby or the lockout mode, just do the same thing. I keep on calling it standby. Standby is actually when you turn it off, not when you lock it out. Nitecore is probably going to yell at me for that. But then to get it back out of the lockout, just press and hold for a second, and it'll be back out of the lockout mode. And the standby is when you just press it. That's standby. Standby is when you'll see the flashing with the just showing you where the flashlight is, which is kind of nice. And this ring will actually flash when you get down to low capacity, and when you get down to really low capacity, you'll see it flash pretty rapidly. It also has momentary in there, so if you press and hold the switch when it's off for about a second, you can see when you release it, it just turns back off. So kind of a neat feature, and then you have the same thing in that turbo mode. So if you press and hold it for about a second and then release it, it'll turn right back off when you release it. And then of course just quickly press it, and you have the constant on. So that is the interface of the TM15. Like I said, pretty much the same thing that you saw on the TM11. There is memory on the daily mode, so that half press, and then you can keep on half pressing to switch between, and you have the memory. Click it all the way to turn it off. Click it all the way for constant on the turbo, and again for off. And then when it's turned on, double click for strobe, and then when it's turned on, press and hold, and it'll go into the lockout mode and give you also the battery voltage indication. And then press and hold for a second again, and it'll come out of lockout. So I don't think I gave it long enough. There we go.
Okay, we're out here with the TM11 and TM15. I can't find the mag light, so it's not with us tonight. We just have these two lights. Let's go ahead and try out the TM11 first, since that's the existing light. There's Argo out there poking around. Bush 15 feet, tree out there at 100 feet. You can see a whole lot of light coming out of this TM11, and honestly, at this kind of distance, you're not really going to notice a massive difference between the two. It's when you start getting out to longer distances, which we'll do here in just a little bit, that you'll start noticing more of a difference. We'll zoom in a little bit. See what Argo's doing out there, poking around with his bandana. He went to the groomer, so he looks all fancy. So that's the TM11. Let's go ahead and try out the TM15. There's the TM15. One thing you'll notice is that the beam is a little bit more concentrated just because of those deeper reflectors that you have on it, and it is a little bit higher output, so you're going to see a higher output on it. But at 15 feet, obviously the 2000 lumens or 2450 or whatever this thing has, it's going to wash out at that kind of distance. But out at 100 feet out there at that tree, does pretty darn well, lights up everything really, really well, and obviously can go a lot further than that, which we'll show here in just a second. Lights up mutts wandering around in your yard really, really well. As you can tell, he's completely unfazed by the light. We always have customers ask if strobe is effective on dogs, and I say at least not one of them. Maybe others, but not mine. He could care less about having strobe or any kind of light in his eyes. But this is the TM15. Oops, knocking the camera over. Let's try the TM11 and TM15 side by side. So TM15 on the left, TM11 on the right. Kind of shine them back and forth, and we'll do the same thing at a longer distance. Alright, let's try out some of the lower levels on the TM15 before we go to the longer distance. Kind of cycle through them just so you can see what they look like. So a lot of versatility in this light. You obviously have a lot of different light levels. Let's go ahead and try out the longer distance. Okay, got the tiny monsters and about 100 yards to work with now. Try out that TM11 first again. Tops of those trees out there, about 100 yards away. Top of my house, about 25-30 yards away. I'll show you what those trees look like. Obviously lit up extremely well. No question about what's going on out there. And this light is still good up to, I think they rate it for around 280 yards or meters or whatever I said earlier in the video. Let's try out that TM15. So there you'll notice the difference. Definitely a more focused light. It looks kind of blue on the screen. It's not that blue in real life. The color balance I think is just a little off. I try to get it as close as possible always, but it looks like it's a little off on this one. We'll shine it around just so you can see. More focused beam, higher output. This is when you start noticing the difference between the TM11 and TM15. We'll zoom in up there just so you can see. Everything's still lit up really, really well, but a little bit more focused. So we got the TM15 on the left, we'll do the TM11 on the right, and there you can see the difference in the beams of the two lights. And again, it's not quite that cool. It looks very blue on the monitor, and it's not really that blue in real life. So there you go, TM11, TM15. If you like either light, you can get them from us at goinggear.com. Any questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments, or you can reach us at goinggear.com. And if you like the video, be sure to subscribe. We put out a lot of other flashlight and gear videos. Thanks for watching.